Hey y'all, so I'm going to be doing my ASICS running shoe review today. I'll be starting with the Gel Cumulus 22s, going to the GT 2008s, and then the Gel Nimbus 22s. So all the latest versions of each of these three models. I'll be starting with the Cumulus 22s. So Cumulus 22s, they are a neutral shoe. So what that means is that if you have high arches and don't need a lot of support when you run, neutral shoes usually are your thing. So if you underpronate or neutral strike, I am a neutral shoe runner. We'll get to GT 2008 here in a second. They are not neutral shoes, but Cumulus are neutral shoes. So they basically don't give you a ton of stability. Like if you have super flat feet, I don't know if neutral shoes are for you. I'm not an expert, but neutral shoes, here we go. Cushion level is 4. So I got this information off of roadrunnersports.com. They have running accessories, shoes, clothing. They're great. Love Roadrunner Sports. And I love that they gave a cushion level, so it kind of gives you an idea of what it means. So Cumulus 22s are rated a 4 out of 5 on cushion level. So they give you enough cushion when you run, but they aren't super heavy. So these are actually 7.6 ounces. So lighter than like Brooks Ghost or Adrenalines or even the Nimbus or GT 2000s for ASICS. So they're actually pretty light. I have ran in my first marathon in these, and I think my second marathon in these, and I've done the training and everything in those down to like 5K races. So they do hold up under mileage, and I'll get to which shoes I think are the best for marathon training at the end. But they do hold up even though they are super light. So a special thing about ASICS is they have something called flight foam technology, and it's in the midsole. So it even says flight foam right there. So, and there's dog hair, of course, that's Nala hair. So the flight foam technology is in the midsole, so it offers cushion and bounce while you run. So basically when you're striking the ground, it kind of gives you that extra spring. It's amazing stuff. I can definitely tell the difference when I'm running, when I'm in ASICS. And they are, so a lot of times people talk about drop with running shoes. I don't know if that's confusing to people, but Cumulus have a drop of 10 millimeters. So it's the same exact as Brooks Glycerin. So if you're a Brooks runner, they have the same drop. And I know sometimes when you switch between different drops and you're switching out running shoes, it kind of can mess you up. So some people say, I don't know. But a drop of 10 millimeters, an average price for the Cumulus is around $120 for new models. So that's brand new models. You can always find older models that are less expensive places, Amazon, Zappos, Academy, even Roadrunner Sports, and on ASICS website you can find them cheaper. Another thing about running shoes in general is size up. So I wear an 8.5 in running shoes, and that gives a little space at the front for your toes. Not only when your feet swell when you run, but it gives you that extra space so when you're running and your feet are kind of pushing forward, especially when you're running long distance, you don't want your toes to jam up against the front. You'll lose toenails. It's not fun. You get blisters, all that stuff. So I'm normally an 8. In other shoes, running shoes, I go up to an 8.5. So I size up half the size. That's kind of general rule of thumb for running shoes. So Cumulus, like I said before, I've ran in since middle school, cross country. The Cumulus were my first pair of running shoes for cross country. They have taken me 2 marathons, 2 marathon trainings, half marathons, down to 5Ks. I personally do not marathon train in them anymore. I do like them for short, like if I was going to go do a 5K race, or I use them a lot when I'm walking Nala. I use them a lot for walking now more than I do running, but they still are a great running shoe. if you're looking for shorter distances. So if you're not a marathon trainer, if you're not even training for a half or a race at all, if you're just running recreationally, Cumulus are still a wonderful shoe. Great cushion, like I said, level 4 cushion out of 5. So you get a ton of cushion and comfort, and they're not heavy at all. So that is the Cumulus. And we're gonna move on to the GT 2008s, which is the newest model of the GTs. Pretty similar shoe, but Cumulus is a neutral shoe, GT is a stability shoe, which I actually did not know until I was researching facts about them. I have ran in both of these, obviously, which is why they're dirty and worn down. I did a full marathon training cycle in the GT 2008 and did not even notice that they were a stability shoe. I thought they were a neutral shoe. So they're a stability shoe. So a stability shoe is a mix between cushion and comfort. So they are for medium to high arches. So if you need a little bit of support but not maximum support out of a running shoe, usually is when you need a stability shoe. So that's the GT. You can kind of tell they're pretty similar with the gel technology as the Cumulus. They look pretty similar at the back. So they have that gel cushion, just like the Cumulus. Amazing shoe. Like I said, I trained a whole marathon training cycle. So lots and lots of miles, high mileage with these, and they were wonderful. And I ran a few smaller races, 5K, 10K, and they held up perfectly. They are great shoes, absolutely love them. So they are also a cushion level 4 out of 5. So you still have that great cushion and the lightness. These are heavier than the Cumulus at 8.3 ounces, but honestly, they both, to me, when they're on your feet and you're running in them, they feel super light, the same as the Cumulus 22s. So the GTs have DuoMax and Trustic system technology, which is also exclusive to ASICS, which is amazing. So what that does is it's in the midfoot, and it works to keep your feet stable and prevent twisting. So it's part of that stability that's in the midfoot to keep you from twisting, and it keeps you stable, basically, is the easiest way to put it. So stability shoe, you get that stability in the midfoot, obviously. Great support, also a size 8.5, same drop at a 10 millimeter, which is, like I said, it's just like interchanging shoes almost, to me anyway. So I have done one full marathon training cycle in the GT 2008s, and then a few smaller races, but they carried me for lots and lots of miles. They were wonderful shoes. Like I said before, they felt just like neutral shoes to me, and they're super light. They are stability shoes. So if you're looking for stability shoes, maybe the GT 2008s are more for you. Lots of cushion, highly recommend these shoes. So we are gonna go from the GT 2008s to the Nimbus 22s, which are my personal favorite now. So like I said, I ran in Cumulus 22s, or I ran in Cumulus for years and years and years, and am now a Nimbus runner when it comes to marathon training. So since I'm normally marathon training, which is high mileage, volume, all that stuff, Nimbus are my go-to because for me, they hold up longer. I feel like I can get more out of them, and they just, when I'm done with a long run, whether it's 13 miles or 21 miles, or after race day at 26.2 miles, my body doesn't feel so worn down. My joints don't hurt as bad. You are obviously hurting a little bit after a long run, like 20 something miles, or after race day, other than like the normal fatigue and pain you get after running that long. These shoes have really treated my body well. So Nimbus 22s, these are the Tokyo green, I believe, limited edition color. Amazing cushion. So these are rated a 5 out of 5 of level. of cushion, which means you get the max amount of cushion. They are a neutral shoe, so just like the Cumulus, a neutral shoe, but have more cushion. So for me, I wanted and needed more cushion. For the long runs, I just felt like my joints needed that. So that's why I have stuck with the Nimbus 22s. 22 is the first model Nimbus I've ever worn, but this is my second or third pair. This is my third pair of Nimbus 22s in the past year because I love them so much. So they have maxed out cushion, level 5 out of 5 on cushion. They have a softer gel technology. As you can kind of see, it's kind of thicker back here than like the GTs. So you get that extra cushion just to carry you those extra miles. They are heavier, obviously, because they have more going on. So they're at 9 ounces as opposed to the GTs were in the 8s and the Cumuluses were like in the 7 ounces. So they are heavier, but you get that more support and cushion. Well, you get that more cushion. They are a neutral shoe, so limited support. So the flight foam technology are in all the ASICS shoes. So flight foam, and they're so dirty. You can't even see it because it's neon, but it says flight foam right there, if you were wondering. So flight foam technology, it helps get that spring in your step. So when you're striking the ground, you feel that spring off, which is super nice. So the 22s actually have more foam than the previous models, which I can't attest to because I have only ran in Nimbus 22s, but on ASICS website, it says that they have more cushion than previous models. I'm taking their word for it because I don't think they would lie about that. So more cushion. So even if you aren't a marathon runner and don't need that extra cushion because you're going 25 miles or 26.2 miles at race day, and you just need more cushion because your joints just ache from previous years of doing whatever, or you just need extra cushion, whether you're running a mile or running 3 miles a week. If you just need extra cushion, Nimbus, highly recommend. So from marathon ultra runner who needs extra cushion because your joints just can't at those crazy mileage that we put ourselves through, down to recreational runners who just are running every now and then but need that extra cushion, Nimbus are for you. Highly recommend. Like my other ones, they're an 8.5. I'm an 8.5 in all my ASICS, so I size a half up from an 8 to an 8.5 when I'm in running shoes to give myself more room. These actually have a drop of a 13 millimeter, so the drop is slightly different than the Cumulus and GTs. I haven't been able to notice a difference when I'm running, and I don't even think I can show you the difference on the screen, but the drop is basically the difference between the midsole or the heel midsole to the front. I guess you can kind of tell that the Cumulus goes, I don't know. Anyway, the drop's different. I can't tell a difference when I'm running, so I'm going I used to switch between GTs and Nimbuses sometimes on runs. So when I was phasing in my Nimbus and phasing out my GTs, I didn't notice a difference. So if you're worried about drop, I didn't tell a difference between 10 millimeter GTs and 13 millimeter Nimbus. But if you're very strict on your drop numbers, they are different. So average price of Nimbus are $150 for new models, so they are slightly more expensive, but you get a heck of a lot more out of them, in my opinion. So, favorite models, I ran the Dallas Marathon last winter in these. So the very first pair of Nimbus 22s I got like a month before race day. And that's when my GTs were wearing out. I didn't think they would push me through race day. So a few days before the race, which I never switch shoes a few days before a race, I switched to my Nimbus. They were the best thing. I PR'd, my legs felt great. I had plenty of cushion. It was the perfect storm. So they have no break-in period, obviously, and they carried me through the race greatly. So Highly recommend. And that goes for all the ASICs. I've never had a break-in period with any of them. I've always been able to just put them on, go for a run, whether it was 3 miles or 10 miles, and I was fine. So that's also another nice thing, is you don't have to worry about lapping around your house, throwing on your old shoes because your feet were aching, or throwing an extra pair of shoes in your stroller, which you can do, but you don't have to worry about that. I haven't had any problems breaking in. No break-in period with ASICS, which is wonderful. So that covers these 3 models. So the Cumulus 22s, GT 2008s, and the Nimbus 22s. I hope this was helpful. I am running in the Nova Blast right now, which is a brand new model, which I'm super excited about. I will save that for its own review because I am not done trying them out, but I love them so far. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I will be happy to help and answer any questions that I can, and hope that you find your favorite pair of ASICs. Thanks for watching.